Alex.
And I'm Ryan, we're high school students at the John Crosland School.
Tonight's theme is believing beyond limits. And honestly, if you know Crosland students, you know that's kind of our life story.
Yeah, a lot of us came here after being told that we were too much or not enough or we just didn't fit the system.
But then we met teachers who didn't see us as problems to fix. They saw us as people worth understanding. We've invited one of those superheroes to be here tonight. Please welcome Miss Stefan.
So first, thank you for being here. We want to start with something simple. What made you want to teach students our best?
Great question. So I'm a neurospicy person myself. And I was told it's really cringe to say, so obviously I had to say it. But growing up and kind of having some of the same experiences some of our students had had, it was just something that drew me to an opportunity to be able to, I don't know, impart a little wisdom maybe to help students that were in a similar place as I was growing up.
As you mentioned, a lot of us here are neurodivergent. That means our brains work differently. What's one thing you wish the world understood about students like us?
So I think we're getting to this point, we're getting better, but the students that are neurodivergent are not a problem, right? It's not something that a mold that we're trying to fix. And I think changing the way that we talk about that and getting more recognition and understanding that people who are neurodivergent are just thinking of things differently, this creativity that they're able to work with and really show. And I think that's one of the things I love so much about our school is that we get to let that shine, right? It's not, as they said, fitting in a box or fitting in a mold. It's how can you fit in whatever space you need to fit in.
I remember when I first came to Crosland, I was used to teachers telling me what I was doing wrong. But at Crosland, teachers start by asking, what do I need to help me grow as a student? Why do you think that makes such a big difference?
One of the things we talk about a lot at Crosland, right, is the power of yes, that idea of like positive thinking and forward thinking. And I think when we are constantly telling students what they're not good at or what they're not able to achieve, you start to internalize that, you start to believe it and think it's true. And so by instead meeting a student and saying, hey, think about what you need, right? Start to learn more about how to advocate for yourself and what you know and what you don't know is such an important skill that I don't think is we don't have enough time to really manufacture that and to harvest that skill. So I like being able to approach that with my students.
Can you share a moment when you saw a student go from feeling stuck to believing in themselves?
Yes, okay, I had to think about this one. Here's the deal, okay, I'm a high school science teacher, okay, so I teach everyone's favorite subject, which is chemistry. I can tell by your laughter you agree. So I've had a lot of aha moments in that, and one of my personal favorites was a really simple, quiet aha moment where a student and I had been working a lot one-on-one with another really great topic of stoichiometry. And he was really struggling, and one day in class we're working on problems independently, and they come up and put some on the board. And he solved one and then looked up, and I looked back down and he looked up. He raised his hand and he's like, can I do this one? I said, oh God. So he gets up, walks on over, he's kind of unsure, he's that nervous, right, stuff on the board, and it was perfect. And it was yeah, you nailed it, congratulations. And it was literally this moment where it went from this uncertainty, to oh my God, I am amazing, watching that. And it was in real time,
We've been calling our teachers superheroes tonight. What do you think is your greatest superpower as a teacher?
Okay, so that's a great question that I'm hearing for the first time right now. I had to think about this. I think as teachers, we want to believe that we are doing amazing at everything, right? That we are teaching perfectly and that students are really connecting with us all the time. That's right, I am. He gets mad. No, but I think one of the things our strategy is I want to be their cheerleader. I want them to know that no matter what, they always have someone in their corner. Whether I'm their least favorite subject, or their most favorite subject, or somewhere in between. I want them to know that I'm in their corner no matter what. So that belief system that we're building, if they don't have it in themselves, they know that I've got it for them, right? And that the hope is that eventually they'll also gain that for themselves, and then they'll just continue to grow, and I'll just be in the back. Woo!
Honestly, it takes something special to stay patient when someone is overwhelmed, anxious, or shutting down.
Or when someone's brain is moving so fast it can't slow down.
Or when someone has failed so many times, they're scared to try again.
But you don't give up on this.
What do you think makes the John Crosland School different from other schools?
I think it's the idea that we are this whole child approach, right? So it's not just this idea of academics. Any school can help a kid with academics, right? That's like kind of our main thing. But to be able to say, hey, we got a kid who's, needs a little help with academics, but also is trying to work on some of their social skills, who's also trying to work on some of their interactions and social emotional learning. We are able to, in our small class sizes or a smaller school in general, to have that whole child approach and really work on meeting that kid where they are so that we can elevate them on their own time and their own terms instead of shifting them along and hoping for the best.
I used to think my differences were weaknesses.
But teachers like you show us that our differences are actually our strengths. That we're not here to be fixed. We're here to be discovered. So from all of us students, thank you for being the people who see what ours is. Thank you for believing even when we didn't.